Guys, you got it today upon request. Many of you have been asking across our social media, Connor, will you film a video on the BRRRR method strategy? And yes, we're gonna talk about how we buy houses, fix them up, and finance out today. So what is this strategy? Guys, this is a strategy that's created financial freedom for many investors across the country. We're taking short-term interest money or our own money, and we're cycling it and leveraging it through back into long-term amortized loans. And you don't need to raise a lot of money to build a big portfolio, which is why people like this strategy. Now, if you do it the conventional way and you're leaving cash in the deal, you're gonna run out of money eventually. So this is a way people can raise a small amount of money once or use their own money once, but build a big portfolio. So let's talk about how this happens, guys. So what we're gonna go over is the BRRRR strategy. That stands for BRRRR, right? Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So let's look at this in detail here because this is gonna make a lot of sense here in just one second. So what we're gonna do is say we come across this really janky, beat down house up here. We can buy this house for $50,000. That is our cost of acquisition. Now, here's the premise of this whole strategy, right? We only need to raise money one time or a small amount of money one time to build a big portfolio. So let's assume that we have a credit line, hard money, private money, or our own money. The problem is, if we have high interest short-term money like a hard money loan, or we're using our own money, if we're using our own money, we can't do a lot of deals because we're gonna run out of money eventually. And if we're using hard money, we have to finance out and pay that lender off. And how are we gonna clear that underlying high interest rate short-term loan off? Well, we're gonna finance out, and I'll show you how in just a second. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy a house, this junky little house right here for $50,000 with our own money or private money or hard money or credit line, right? Then we're gonna fix it up. So we're gonna rehab it. Step 2, rehab the house, right? We're gonna put $20,000 in repair into the property. That's gonna put us at $50,000 plus $20,000, plus we're gonna have some carrying costs in there, and assume that we're all in total liabilities to this property around $75,000, which can make sense here in just a second. But now, after we put this money in there, that $20,000 put into that $50,000 house, that's gonna force depreciation up on the property. Because now it doesn't look like this. It looks like this. A nice move-in rentable house, right? And a new market value or appraised value, if an appraiser came out to analyze the property, is gonna be $100,000. So now we have a house that's worth $100,000. What are we gonna do with it? We're gonna rent it out, right? So we're gonna find this guy right here and we're gonna sign a lease with this individual. We're gonna rent the property, hopefully for as much as possible, right? Now, we may get into other videos. Do we do month to month? Do we do a 3-year lease, a 1-year lease? Because a lot of people have a different psychology when thinking about how they want to rent their properties. Some people are doing Airbnb right now for higher cash flow. Just depends on what your exit strategy is going to be. So here's what's important to understand, guys. The majority of banks, pretty much all of them, are going to require you to season this rental property. Now, what does seasoning mean? They're going to want 6 months of seasoning. So every month that tenant is in the property, that they make that payment, month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, is showing a reverse curve, right? Because it's less and less risky as that seasoning goes on, because building a track record is what they're doing. This tenant is showing that he makes the payment on month 1, on month 2, on month 3, and as he makes more and more payments, it's less and less risky because he's showing that he has a track record now of making those payments. Most banks are going to require that you season it for 6 months, showing that tenant can make those payments. Then we're going to go back to the bank. So we've bought it, we've rehabbed it, we've rented it out, we're seasoning that property, and now we're going to refinance out. Because what if we bought it with a hard money loan? Or what if we bought it with our own money and all we had was $70,000, $80,000 to our name? We can't do any more houses until we get our original money out to go buy another one, right? So we're going to go back to the bank and we're going to say, I got this house, the market value is $100,000. They're going to agree, there's going to be an appraisal, and it's going to come back at $100,000, and they're going to usually give you about a 75% cash out refinance. This is going to be a long-term amortized loan, because most of these loans that you're going to buy the property with are short-term, high-interest, interest-only loans. That principal amount is never paying down, so if you hold that long-term, guys, you're never going to pay the house down. So go back and watch our last video, because this video is also kind of in agreement with that last video that we filmed, because a lot of people said, because we're talking about interest-only loans versus amortizing loans, and they say, when should I use an interest-only loan? It is to get into that property quickly, guys, because we're marketing to homeowners saying we pay cash and we close fast, which is what we have to do. If we have to get an amortized bank loan like this, it doesn't get closed very quickly now, does it? So we have to close on the deal, we have to strike quickly, buy the house, but then we need to finance out later to pay off this underlying short-term lender, which is what they're gonna do. Let's assume they give us a 30-year, 4 3/4 interest loan and a cash out refi of $75,000. So now we have a new loan of $75,000 with $25,000 of leveraged equity and cash flow of hopefully $300+ a month. I wouldn't be doing the deal unless you're getting at least some numbers pretty close to that. Once they give us this money, what do we do with it? We pay back our original credit line, our original hard money lender, our private money lender, or get our own money back. Plus we cover the cost of $20,000 and save $5,000 or so in carrying costs. Taxes, interest, water, electric, guys, you get the point. Now we have this money back. So we've refied, we have our original money back. Now what do? We do it again and again and again and again. We cookie cutter, we repeat it, right? So we can take that same short interest loan, high interest rate, short-term high interest rate loan, buy a house again for $50, fix it up, finance out. Take that same loan again now that we got our money back, do it again, fix it up, force depreciation up, go back to the bank, finance out. So you can see how with one loan, you can cookie cutter your portfolio together, and over time, when you get to 20, 30 rental properties, you are financially free and you never have to work again, guys. I hope you liked today's video. If you want more clarification, guys, contact us at info.investorarmy@gmail.com. If you are not watching our podcast channel, guys, we have a whole other YouTube channel, Investor Army Podcast, where I interview top CEOs across the country. Oh yeah, and if you haven't already done so, please support the channel, subscribe to the channel below, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.